So a neighbor of mine had this bench grinder that stopped working, and he said it was only a couple years old. It's made by a company called Ryobi, and interestingly enough, it has these work lights, and they wouldn't come on. If you plug this unit in, you get a mild hum. I checked. I don't have a capacitor checker. Need to get one, but I was assuming that there might have been a set of starter windings in this unit, and I was assuming that it was going to have brushes in here. But when I spun it, I didn't hear anything that sounded like there was any brushes or anything like that. And what I mentioned earlier about the lights coming on, I thought that it would have been that the lights would have been wired in directly after the switch on the front here, and it's not. It's coming actually off the hot of the motor. So they're wired in, or actually no, excuse me. Let me double check here. So we've got the two wires going to the light, or both lights. Then it's coming off of this brown wire. And then you've got this hot lead that goes into the motor, and then you've got the neutral that goes into the motor with this blue wire, and then you have the two whites for the starter. And I figured something had to be shorted out, and I'm looking in here, and I've got these two wonderful skid marks. And I tried putting a meter across it. I was getting some weird readings as far as continuity was concerned. I forget what the exact readings were. I'd have to go back and do it. But anyway, opening it up, and this is what I'm seeing here. It looks like it melted one of the nylon strings or whatever these are. So I'm assuming that this is where the fault is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this open with some side cutters, and we're going to see what's exactly going on in here to make this do what it's doing. So with a little bit of cutting away here, I was able to get the fiberglass insulation off, and lots of skid marking going on here. Let me bring the intensity of the lights down here a little bit so you can see this a little bit. There we go. Okay. So as we can see, the copper coming from the windings actually got completely burnt. It almost looks vaporized. I mean, it's probably, a millimeter or so distance. Can I focus? Doesn't want to focus. Focus. Oh, whatever. Let's back it up a little bit. There we go. So yeah, as you guys can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut this little crimp off of here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder this on directly. And then I've got some different heat shrink. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I hope it does. I know that this had the fiberglass. I don't have any replacement fiberglass, so hopefully, I mean, this vinyl, feels like vinyl, wire was able to stand the heat, even though it was, even though it melted it here, but that was just because it was, it was short circuiting. Back over here, we have this other bit right here. I'm going to take that apart and see what's going on with him, and we'll see if that has also shorted in there. I don't know why it would do that in two locations. This could have been an issue with, because this was a crimped fitting, and all the vibration from the from the bench grinder might have actually shooken that. Who knows? The resin dip on it almost doesn't feel like it was dipped. I think this is I don't think this unit was dipped in resin at all. So that's probably, I mean, when I clip this off, I mean, look, these windings can move freely. I don't think, if it was very, very, very lightly dipped. So not much vibration resistance from that. So I'm going to go cut this out, open that up, see what's going on in there. I would be willing to bet that if I resolder this and repair what's ever going on in here, I think we might be able to bring this this unit back. So taking apart that other lead that was feeding that coil, it's really interesting, because if you look, I think that might be, it's kind of hard to tell. I'd probably have to get the magnifying glass out, but it almost looks like it's either white corrosion, which only really happens on aluminum, or that's copper. You know what? Where's a magnet? Do I have a magnet? I want to see something. Is this magnetic? No, it's not magnetic. So there's some sort of corrosion going on, because that was almost like a powdery white. So, and it's not magnetic, so it's not copper coated steel. So I don't know what's going on there, why that's corroding in there. But this terminal right here was also getting hot enough to melt this this wire in here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off, and it actually had heat shrink on it. So obviously they think that it's well suited for the temperature. I might even double heat shrink it, and then they have dipped this just ever so lightly. So what I'm going to have to do, because this was kind of a pain to chew out of there. These guys were all sticking together, and I had to kind of peel them apart. But it was dipped very lightly. But anyway, so we have the black, which is our hot, and we have our blue, which is our common. So those are two leads going into here. Then we have the brown and white wires. Those look fine. I think right in here, this guy was just burnt secondhand. I'm not gonna dive into him. I think he's perfectly all right. As you can see on both of these, they were both secondhand charred. So yeah, so I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to resolder these and put this back together, and let's see if it doesn't go into a ball of flames. Well, after further inspection and trying to do a little bit of soldering, I've come to the conclusion that this is aluminum, not steel, and it's not copper because this won't take any solder. And I stripped it down with a little bit of sandpaper, and yeah, it's aluminum. So this whole stator is aluminum. So I'm going to have to find a crimp or something of some sort. I don't know if I have any crimps laying around. I really don't want to crimp this because I don't want the same problem happening again. So I'm gonna play around with it. I'm gonna make this a 2-part video then, and I will come back with a little bit more information on what I came with to solve it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next one.